Bell. Ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello and welcome again to New York Talk. We are back with a review of a hard-fought draw, a really hard-fought draw at Charlton, and it's time for the FA Cup proper to start with Bromley. We're going to come to New York for the first time ever. We have, same as always, Danny's with us. Hello, Danny.
Hello, how are you doing?
Not bad, mate, you?
Yeah, not too bad. I think I've just about recovered from Tuesday.
Fantastic. And Mick is with us, joining us live from a room in Wales.
Yes,
What
with
could
Wi-Fi.
possibly go wrong? Yeah, that doesn't fill me with confidence, to be honest with you. So you got Wi-Fi.
No, me neither. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Well, you can't see the gerbil going round in a wheel just off camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll do it the last time. Start with this word from our sponsor, which is Manscaped at the moment. So if you need anything, they are world leaders in male hygiene, male grooming. So if you want to get anything from them, if you want manscaped.com and use the code NYT, they will get you 20% off their costs and free shopping. Just if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see it just to the right hand side of your screen.
Free shopping or free shipping?
Anyway. Free shipping, 20% off. If you go on the website, you'll find plenty of good stuff. So have a look over there, especially with Christmas coming up. It's some good stuff, some good presents for there. Anyway, so a point at Charlton leaves us 10 unbeaten in the league. Danny, it was definitely not an easy game. A well-earned point in the end.
Yeah, I think we can look back on that game as we can with probably Wickham as well and say, you know what, that's a fair enough draw. That was a good game. I mean, Charlton shouldn't be in the position that they're in my opinion. 20th isn't their position. I think they're going to be up the top end with the squad they've got. And to be honest, in that game, after we took the lead just before half-time, they didn't just throw the kitchen sink at us, they threw the whole bloody kitchen. You know, they were desperate and they got their equaliser and they just kept going. And, you know, I think they'll count themselves a bit unlucky they didn't score and win the game, but we can count the blessings that we got a draw out of it and are still unbeaten.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fair reflection, Mick. What your general thoughts on it before we get into it in more depth?
Yeah, I think you're right. It was always going to be a tough game. We knew it was going to be a tough game. And there's always going to be a sense of after a Lord Mayor's show, after a performance and a game like the one previously against Sunderland. So, I think it was probably on reflection a fair result.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Danny. I can't for watching that game in isolation. I can't see why Charlton are where they are. It doesn't make sense, but I understand they've had their issues with as we talked about in the previous show. They'll not be in a relegation scrap, really. Let's put it that way. They'll definitely not be in a relegation scrap come end of the season. Mick, Steve Adams says, "Not star."
Cheers, Steve. Thank you. I think I'm going to respond to that. I've got no chance. Same to you, mate.
Yeah, your Welsh is not amazing, then, Mick. No,
I'm not. No, I can't get rid of vowels out of my sentences. So it just don't work.
Fair enough. A couple of changes for the starting lineup. Obviously, Vickers stayed the same because why would he not? Woody came back in effectively in place of Chio. Chio dropped down to the bench. Woody came back in the centre. Wes Harding went from left centre back to right wing back. Icky moved to the right hand side, and Mikael Miller also came in on the left hand side wing back as well. Any surprises with that, Danny? Because it's managing Chio, I suppose, is the reason he's been taken out. That's the only reason I can think he's been taken out, managing his fitness.
Yeah, I think so. And he said with Chio earlier in the season that he's going to try and mitigate his game time a bit more so he just avoids injury. And that could be one of the reasons. I mean, Chio did really well against Sunderland. He ran that right-hand side really well. And I think that's probably why he's dropped to the bench, just to give him a little bit of a rest, because I think We know he's going to play in the FA Cup. He's now been called up back to the Ireland squad, so I think that might be for his benefit more than anything else. But again, you've still got the good backup of Harding being there, and Harding did well on the right-hand side and slotted back in to the centre of defence after Ricky went off very easily.
Yeah, easy to say it, but we'll talk about the goal in a minute. But as a general rule, we defended quite well again. I know they had the moments, but again, defensively quite solid. We restricted them to mainly pot shots from quite a distance, similar to Sunderland. We restricted them. We will come on to the goal in a minute because it needs talking about. But as a general 90 minutes, we still defended quite well. Yeah,
we did. And like Danny said earlier on, the bottom line is they did throw the kitchen and probably half a house at us, and he's right. Sooner or later it was potentially going to give. So we defended all right. I don't have an issue. I don't particularly have an issue with anybody or any area of the pitch. I thought we were all right. We just weren't quite on the level that we have been for the previous few games. But like we said about Sunderland on Saturday, were they bad because we made them look bad? Did we not play well because Charlton didn't allow us to? And I suspect, watching the game, I did get that feeling of Wickham a few times throughout the game, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, but it is what it is. We didn't lose.
Exactly. IOC Ethan's asking when the matchday vlog is out. That will be out probably tomorrow. That's almost ready to go. And he says, well, this is Friday. For anyone who listens to the podcast, it'll be out Friday. And he says, we're very lucky to get a draw. We looked dead in our feet after 60 minutes, which is probably about right. With the guy, we played a lot of games, I suppose. There's not a great deal to talk about in the first half, Dan. It was not an amazing half, but it was solid. I think we shaded the first half. The only thing to mention is the goal, which Mikel Miller scored. Lots of complaining from the Charlton fans that it was a foul throw and a handball, but then Mikel Miller scored. Having watched it back, I didn't see either. But it don't matter. The goal was given, and it was an excellent finish from Mikel Miller.
Yeah, and the only counter I could say to the Charlton fans is that there was a foul in the build-up to their goal, so you win some, you lose some. But for Miller to score his first league goal for the Millers, it's a great confidence boost for him. It shows that he's on the right track this season and he's getting the game time that he needs and performing how he needs to be. I don't quite know how Woody's got the assist because it seems to just bounce off him as he was going to ground. But anyway, it was a really smart finish. He got his head over it, hit it hard, and it just fired into the goal, nearly broke it from where we were sitting. It nearly broke it. So it's great for Miller, great finish, and hopefully it's not the only one he scores this season because I think he's got more in his locker.
I thought he had a decent game, Mick. I don't think he was a shining light, but he was definitely solid. To say he went down with Northampton, got relegated with Northampton last season, that's a surprise to me because he looks right in a promotion-chasing team. It seems a bit odd to me.
Yeah. It depends where they played him, doesn't it? It depends what position he played in. But yeah, he's looked really, really dangerous every time he's played this season.
And solid defensively, though. He's not lost out defensively, have we?
No. He has got. You always worry that he's just got that daft tackle in him, don't you?
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, he's not shown that in the last few games since he came back from his last sending off.
No.
But yeah, great finish, proper finish. Nobody's stopping that, are they?
No. And if he didn't get booked with that referee on Tuesday, when will he get booked? Because he was flashing him out left, right, and centre, wasn't he?
Well, I got booked by him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. John Morrell is with us again, Birmingham fan. Thanks for joining us, John. He says, now then, Mick, you're there short at right wing. Wing backs for the weekend. Could we drop Wes Arden off around Arthur's 2 at St Andrews? He asked about Lecco for Charlton. He didn't play for Charlton. I think he's injured. I think the guy we spoke to before and said he was injured, Lecco. Let's have a word on the referee. Michael Smith got his 5th booking of the season. So he is now suspended for the Cambridge game. I'm still not sure what he got booked for, to be honest with you. It was crazy. He jumped for the ball, players jumped into his arm, and he's got booked for it. I ain't got a clue. Wiles he got booked. I'm not sure what Wiles he got booked for. And the big talking point from the referee, Danny, is Icky. Now, he got booked in the first. I can't remember that. I can't remember the first yellow card. But the second one, When I first saw it, I didn't think it was a foul. I thought it got quite a lot of the ball. But if the referee has made a decision that it is a foul, he should have sent him off.
Yeah, I agree. Hold my hands up, and I will say, if the referee thinks that's a foul and he's given the free kick, then it's a yellow card sort of challenge. And even Icky said that he got the ball, but a bit of the man as well.
Yeah.
And that's what Warney said in his interview. And it's like, well, but I don't know. The ref seemed very inconsistent. Like you say, he booked Smith and Wiles for very soft things. And there was something flying about that he'd booked Rathbone as well. And it's like, well, what's he booked him for? But obviously it was just talking to, and must have booked somebody else. I don't know. But watching the footage back, the way he goes in on their player, it's a bit that could go either way. And a few fans stood around me were going, "He's going to send him off. It's bound to happen. He's going to send him off." But then we just see the referee walking away, and it's like, "Oh, yay!" He's not off the pitch, and then immediately after, "Icky, you're off. Done. Bring Chio on."
Yeah,
not having sent off.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done, mate. Got to be done in that situation. He's got to bring him off. It makes perfect sense to bring him off. He's had his life, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, for John, we will drop Wes off on Saturday, but he's got to be home for 10. Don't want any no later, no excuses. He needs to be back home for 10 o'clock. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the referee didn't give that foul for Icky. The linesman did. The linesman's arm's still shaking after waving his flag so hard after that. The referee made a rub for his own back, didn't he? I mean, I don't know how many bookings there were in the game. I would guess probably 7 or 8 at least.
7.
And I'll be honest with you, there weren't one of them that were a booking.
No.
Not a one. Not for either side. But, you know, he got his comeuppance, the referee, when it came to that with Icky, and he bottled it. Icky should have gone. If that's a foul, then Icky's got to go. So, you know, one, he's done the right thing and fetch him off. I thought he was consistent, the ref. I did think he was consistent. Bad, but for everybody. You know, and we talk about it, don't we? You know, we know that the refereeing standard is not going to be up to scratch in this league. But so long as they treat both sides equally, you can kind of accept it up to a point. You know what I mean? And he gave stupid fouls for both sides, none of which were fouls. The only booking in the game for me that I saw, possibly with the exception of that Icky one for that he didn't get booked for, was Rathbone. When Wiles got booked, Rathbone threw the ball away. That was a booking. Ben Wiles got booked for the foul that weren't even a foul. You know what I mean? It was bizarre. It was just really, really peculiar. But anyway, whatever. You know, he's had his minute in the sun, I guess, from our point of view, hasn't he? And we just move on. But yeah, it weren't great.
It says a lot that the Charlton fans booed him off as well. So they were just as unhappy as us.
Yeah. Yeah, well, from their point of view, really, they're thinking they should be facing 10 men. And if I were in their boots, I'd be thinking exactly the same. But that's firing them up. He's clearly fired them up. He's clearly used it in the right way. Because after the game, after the non-red card, they did improve. They pushed on and got the goal. Let's talk about the goal, mate. Reg is. They said Reg's at fault is maybe a little bit harsh because I think it was a foul. I think it was Jane Stockley, I think, who fouled him, jumped into him and fouled him. Yeah. And for me, it's a blatant foul. He's jumped into Reg's back. Now, you could say that Reg should be cleverer. For Reg to jump in like that, he's facing the wrong way. So maybe Reg should have been clever, and maybe that's why the referee's not seen it. It was all round bad from us and the referee, but fair play to Charlton, they took advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, Reg needs to be stronger. So, you know, there's a bit of naivety, a bit of inexperience on his part there. The referee's seen it. It's a clear foul. No question about it. It's a pushing back. No question whatsoever. You know, and despite what I've just said about his consistency, he's been giving them all night. You know, for much less than that. But anyway, it is what it is. You know, you've got to get on with it. He took it. I would say he took it well, but even it then took a deflection, didn't it? It just felt like a bit of a sucker punch, to be honest, because I thought we'd withstood all their pressure and we were starting to get ourselves another foothold in game. and I felt probably we could have gone on and scored another, and that kind of took the wind out of our sails a little bit. But that's what Charlton did all night. They took the wind out of our sails very effectively, you know, and they deserved it. They deserved that. They deserved that goal. I have to say, much as it pains me, they did deserve that. So, but yeah, it was a foul, no question.
Danny, same. Red should have done better, but at the same time, it was a foul. Or are you different to that?
Yeah, I'd say from the noise that was on social media, I'd say, obviously from my position, I couldn't see it as well because there was a pole in the way. the only pole in the stadium, I might add. But from what I've been hearing, and for you too, if he shoved him in the back, granted, yeah, Red should be stronger, but you can put that down to a little bit of defensive naivety because, I mean, he's the same age as me. So you can put it down to that, but you can say because the referee was so consistently inconsistent, that could be a defector as well. But, you know, as long as it wasn't a goal that let them win 2-1, I'm not really too fussed. You know, like Mick said earlier, we didn't lose. You know, unbeaten run still maintained. You can't win every game, can you? And now we've got a bit of a rest after the FA Cup game, which we'll get onto in a little bit. Just to recover, go through plans again, and hopefully the same thing happens as last international break where we go into it strong, but then just recuperate a little bit and then just go again even stronger.
You know, the games like that are key. We never win at Charlton. We know that. We talked about it before, and it's a bit of a bogey team for us, Charlton. And if you're not going to win, just don't lose. Get out of there with everything. You know, everything mostly still intact, and we frustrated them. We frustrated another team. They felt like it should have won. We've almost won by getting that point in the way. Chris Tether, well, I'd like to know how Rotherham United marked the referee on his score. Not very high, I would have thought.
I think we man-marked him, didn't we?
John Morell wouldn't listen to any Charlton's fans. They thought we were better off without Lee Bowyer. So not going very well. John C. When Icky stayed on the pitch, you know things are going your way, but he also agrees that it was a foul. Goal came a foul on Reg, as does Carl Scott. Clear foul on Washington on Reg, but he needs to be stronger. Echoing what we're saying. And Johnny Davis, Ogbene just needs to improve in his crossing, and then we'll be fine. Up the Millers. Yeah, I mean, if he could cross the ball as well, he'd be playing in Premier League. Yeah, it would. The other moment of the second half, Danny, was one of the best saves you'll see this season.
Yeah.
From Craig McGillivray. I can't say that. Anyway, it was, to be fair to Freddie, it was a really good header. He did the right thing, but it was an absolutely stunning save.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt to butcher his name as well, McGillivray. Anyway, the Charlton goalkeeper pulled. Yeah, that is one of the saves of the season. I mean, it's even made it onto their club's TikTok with all the fancy music and editing with the save. But yeah, I mean, more or less the whole away end thought it were in. But the way he saved it, it's a top class save. Like the way he sort of bent his body and pushed it over the bar, it's like, you know what, fair play, no complaints about that. If you can make that sort of save, you're gonna push on up the Football League a bit, aren't you? But at the same time, you could argue that we should be taking those chances and cementing it a little bit more. There are a few other chances second half. It was like a really good chance, but then someone's just messed it up through whatever means, whether it's a stray pass or a poor shot or whatever. So it's one of them where we had the opportunities to take it, but we didn't take them, and the best opportunity was just foiled by a brilliant save.
Yeah, the only criticism is maybe, and I think Sam told this so there's a commentary, that he should have gone back to the far post again. It's gone a bit too central, and don't get me wrong, it's a stunning save, but maybe Will Grigg, for example, against Lincoln, and only didn't score, but that's what Will Grigg did. You go back across the keeper, it wrong foots the keeper, but that feels harsh criticising Freddie really for that.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm sure Freddie's eyes lit up when he saw that ball coming in, because he's just, you know, one of them where, this is a goal. It's got goal written all over it. And then keeper pulls off a decent save. I mean, it was all right. He did 1 foot cameras, really, weren't it? You know what I mean? It was straight at him, to be fair.
Don't give him any credit, Mick. No, it's undeserved.
No, I mean, it was a good save. It was a good save, but if you're a striker, in your head as a striker, that ball's going straight to keeper. You know what I mean? He's still got to save it, obviously, and he did it well because there was some power behind the header. So yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? You know, it's we're creating loads and loads of chances, much as we did last season, but this season we are taking them, and that's the difference. So taking them in bucketfuls and all.
Yeah, it was very solid. How would you rate Freddie overall, Danny? I thought it was solid again. I thought it was level par with everybody else who didn't do anything spectacular, but he's not done anything worse. He certainly, for me, deserves to keep his place, all being well, for 3 weeks' time when we play next in league. Yeah,
I think so. I think, like you say, no one really uprooted any trees, but they didn't make any calamity errors either. Saying it were a coasting game sounds a little bit harsh, but they all put in a shift, but the shift wasn't as big of a shift as they could have put in, if that makes sense. And I think the only thing that could have topped Freddie's game is if he'd scored that, but because he hasn't, it's just sort of repeated itself out with everybody else. But yeah, like you say, I think he keeps his place when we play Cambridge in a few weeks. But personally, I would take him off the starting 11 for the Bromley game.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I probably agree with that. Are you surprised, Mick, that Grigg didn't come on, or Coyote? I know we were forced into two subs with Mikel Miller's injury and Icky having to come off. So it was left with one sub, which ended up being Ben Wiles, who I think also took a knock, to be fair. With the game petering out, I thought it just... Hands were a little bit tired because of what I've just mentioned, but it were crying out for a little bit of energy up top. And I just thought maybe,
I think Warney felt like, let's get out of here with a point. I thought Freddie had an excellent game. I thought he was excellent. He was chasing balls down right to the back end of the second half. He was still closing players down and joining in that press, which is everything we've criticised him about previously. He's now doing. So I thought he had a really good game, and he will score your goals. He will score your goals. While ever he's involved in game, and he's making himself involved in game. So no, I wouldn't have changed it up there. If I were going to change it anywhere, I'd perhaps changed it in midfield or further back, just to try and shore up that defence to make sure we didn't concede again. We need to come out of there with something. And as we've already alluded to, as that second half rolled on, we just needed to get out of there with that point. So I think it's good that he played the full game. I'm really pleased with Freddie. Really pleased.
Yeah. One last question from John Morell, Birmingham fan, before he leaves us. How many times have you been clipped this time by opposition fans this season?
Listen, John.
I think it's just the one this season, but it was just a biggie.
The thing is, John. Unfortunately, in League One, there are no really big clubs left. You know what I mean? So there's nobody really that's that sensitive. Apart from them down the road, who obviously ended up making me wear a Sheffield Wednesday shirt for a full episode.
Just getting ready to clip him.
That's life, isn't it? Yeah. If you want to set record button going, John, I'll say something about Birmingham, and then I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some. We've got Ipswich and Oxford coming up.
Yeah.
There'll be nibbles there.
If it's Oxford, it'll probably Carl Robinson. Knowing him, he hates us that much. I don't want to pay attention just so I can upset him. So,
someone will send him a clip in the group chat and go, "Here, Carl, have a look at this," and they'll end up quoting it in a press conference or something, won't they?
Really, yeah.
Mick from that New York talk said this.
I'll put my mind to writing some little snippets about Carl Robinson. That won't take me long, I'll tell you now.
No.
We could have a stand-up show from Mick with all cue cards going, and Carl Robinson. Yeah. For a moment, we were top on Tuesday when we were winning, but we end up what is essentially a 3-week break between the next game, third, 3 points behind Wigan, who came from 2-0 down at Fleetwood to win 3-2, which is not a good sign from a promotion rival's point of view. You don't want other teams doing that because that's a really, really good sign. The talking point from that, Danny, I mean, it sounds like there shouldn't be a talking point from Wigan against Fleetwood, but there is a talking point when it comes to Rotherham United. Curtis Tilt's now got 2-2. Now, the same question applies to Will Grigg as it does to Curtis Tilt.
Why on earth would we not recall Curtis Tilt in January? It doesn't make any sense to keep him at them the same way it doesn't make any sense to me that Will Grigg is allowed to stay at us.
Yeah, I think with the whole 2-2 thing, I mean, Nicky had 2-2 before the Charlton game, so I won't get any goosebumps from him scoring goals. I mean, he's a centre back, isn't he? But yeah, a lot of people said this at the Charlton ground. Why aren't we considering recalling him in January if he's doing this? If not just to upset Wigan and stop their defence being so tight, because they've got 8 clean sheets, the same as us, I think. So yeah, we could do it just to try and finesse them a little bit, but I have a feeling we're not the sort of club to do that. I think we might have a go at it if there's some sort of delay to Angus coming back, or if Huddersfield decide to recall Reg, we might consider it. But one of the reasons we were able to get Will Grigg in is because we loaned out Curtis Tilt and the wages sort of balanced and sends out. But I don't think Sunderland's going to recall Grigg, and I think if we recall Tilt because of whatever reason, but keep hold of Grigg, then it'll upset the finances a little bit. But if we want to really try and finesse Wigan, I would recall him, and it may upset their defence a little bit, but I don't think we will recall him. I think the only reason we'd actually physically recall him is if we wanted a fee from Wigan from him. Like, oh, you want to keep him permanently, right, we'll recall him. Then you pay us however many £1,000 to keep him.
Yeah, it just sticks in the throat, mate. You know, it's a promotion rival. I don't like it. I'm not Paul Warren. I'm not the management team. I would never, ever let my promotion rivals have one of my players, whether I thought they were good or not. I don't want them to improve.
No.
And it sounds obvious, and it sort of sounds a little bit petty, but why are we strengthening another team? It's one of the few criticisms of the last transfer window for me. Not many criticisms, and it's a minor one, I suppose, but it doesn't make any sense in my head to allow them to have a player that they want. It
was clear to us, and we said this pre-season, we said this last season, and probably the season before when Tilt came. It clearly doesn't fit. It does not fit within this club. Either he doesn't fit the club, or the club doesn't fit him. Whatever it is, there is an issue there. That's clear for everyone to see. If you bring him back, how is that going to and allow him to train with us, or have him training with us, have him on the bench or whatever? How is that going to affect the balance of this squad, culture-wise and everything else? You know, it's not
in that as well. You don't need to have him training with us. And this is me being really heartless, and this is me looking from a really selfish point of view, from a Rotherham United point of view. If they want him to pay a lot of money for him, number one, if they want him to let him for a lot of money, if they aren't going to pay the money, you recall him. You either try and find somewhere else for him where it can't hurt us, you're low mid-table, or he sits and don't play. If you don't want to play, you don't want to play. And is it professionally? He must understand it. You know what I mean? If you put yourself into a situation, and what Paul wanted, right? I can't have you helping when I have promotion. I am going to have to call you back. You might not get in team. You might have to sit. I might have to sit in reserves for 6 months. But this is what we need to do as a club to make sure we do the best thing for us. I don't think Paul Warren's that type of guy. What I will say up front, I don't think he's as petty as me as well. But that's my head anyway.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's wait and see what happens in January. It could be quite interesting, couldn't it? Because I don't think one is in any mood to assist anybody else. You know what I mean? I don't think he is. So he may well just go, right, now he's coming back, mate. If you want him, fees X number of hundreds of thousands, or
we'll end up making a profit for a player who's played one game.
Yeah. I mean, let's wait and see. I'm probably with you. I'd probably err on the side of the point that you're making there and fetch him back just to annoy him, because we can, you know. And if they're still rattling along like a train come January, then we need to do something to try and derail them. And one of them will be beating them at New York Stadium, which we will do, I'm sure. You know, they weren't.
It is different to the Grigg situation. It is completely different to the Grigg is just not wanted. There is a difference with Tilt wanting to leave, isn't there, I suppose?
There's not much of a difference, is there? Neither player fit. Well,
I think so.
I mean, I'm neither player fits the club, fits the culture of the parent club, do they? You know, for whatever reason that is, and that's not a criticism of either player or either club, you know, or either parent club. It's just how it is, and it's just a little bit kind of unfortunate that the three of the teams that are in there for promotion are Rotherham United, Wigan, and Sunderland. All of them have loaned players to each other, basically. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But, yeah, anything we can do to derail Wigan's form, then we should be doing it.
It'll be interesting, not to steal your word, mate, but it'll be interesting to see what the contract situation is with Tilt regarding FA Cup fixtures. I'm sure if Paul Davis is listening to us or watching or enjoying a beer and listening to Apple Podcasts, I hope he can have a bit more light on it, because if Till isn't allowed to play for Wigan in the FA Cup and we recall him and stick him on the bench for the third round if we get there, like we did last season, then he's club tied, isn't he? So it's either you go back to Wigan on loan or they buy you, or you sit on our bench for the rest of the season. It's already happened with Grigg, and Sunderland have said we are allowed to play him in the FA Cup. Yeah. The same way Reg Huddersfield have said is allowed to play. So I think that's a bit more of a positive sign for us with those two players, but it'd be interesting to see what Tilt's contract's like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. Adek totally agrees with me. Got to play to win. John C. Sell Tilt as soon as we can. Don't worry about Wigan. They're going to hit a dry spell as well.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
Yeah. If we can get him off books and get a decent fee for him, then that's a win-win for everybody. As long as we get money, we can reinvest, so we can then improve ourselves. A loan's obviously a slightly different situation with that one. Shall we move on to the FA Cup?
Yeah,
you've been waiting for this, man, haven't you?
I love the FA Cup. I know we're probably going to lose 1-0 on Saturday, but it's like the first day of the season, isn't it? The possibilities are endless. We could win on Saturday. If we win on Saturday, we could get through to the second round. If we win the second round, we can get anybody in third round. But who knows? This might be our year. I know it's not going to be our year, but it could be our year to have a cup run. I know it's not going to happen. Wouldn't it be amazing to get to like 5th or 6th round for the first time in forever? We've never got past the 5th round before, so
it'll be sod's law the one season that we have a cup run, we have two at the same time. So we have a cup run in both the FA Cup and the EFL Trophy. I mean, we're already out at League Cup in the first round. That's virtually a standard for us every season. But it'd just be sod's law that we go on a cup run in the EFL Trophy. I mean, we haven't gone to the next round in that for a few years. And then suddenly, you're going to go on a cup run in the FA Cup as well because, fixtures. You know, the season after we played 4 games in a week and then we have a double cup run and loads of league games being called off because of international break. It's just sod's law, isn't it?
Yeah. And you don't like it. What's weird, mate? Where's your sense of adventure?
Oh, mate, if we're sitting mid-table or whatever, we're not a great deal to play for, then, I'd love a cup run. It'd be brilliant. But I don't want anything to take away from the fact that we need to get ourselves out of this division at the first chance, at the first time of asking. And a cup run, it brings extra games. It brings the possibility of potentially more injuries. It just does not help us. It doesn't help us at all. Particularly, like Danny's just alluded to there, we've got international breaks. So unlike some of the other clubs in this division, not all, but some of the other clubs in this division, we are not going to end up, if we have a cup run, we're having another league fixture backlog, and we don't need it. Look what it did to us last season. It relegated us last season, and it could prevent us or potentially prevent us getting in that top 2. That's why I just worry about it a bit. But that's me being an old pessimist, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to bear in mind. So the fixture congestion, none of our fixtures will change the rest of the FA Cup until third round weekend. And what you've got to bear in mind is we play Donny that weekend. If Donny gets through to the third round, it'll be rearranged anyway. So there's a
Donny won't get through first round.
They've got Scunny there, aren't they? Let's be fair. Scunny. There's not many teams worse than Donny this season. Scunny are one of them teams.
Oh, I suppose.
So there's a half-decent chance that the third round will get moved anyway. So let's try and get through to the third round and then sort of see from there. We look at last season with the congested fixtures. The reason that we had to play Coventry when we did is because they got to the fourth round. So it doesn't actually matter sometimes. It doesn't matter what we do. You may still end up with a fixture congestion anyway because of other teams. It'd just be nice. Like I said, I've only seen us get to the fourth round once, and that was in 2000 and... God, when was that, mate? 2002 when we beat Southampton?
I have no idea. No idea.
You remember the game, I assume? The Southampton.
I
do.
We're at... yeah, I do. That was at Don Valley?
No, Millmore. No.
Oh. I don't know then, no. Mate, I have to have my name written on here so I remember what it is.
I can't believe you don't remember that game. That was the only positive FA Cup memory I have of my years watching Rotherham.
Did Matt Letizia play in that game?
He came on late on, and you could tell he was at the end of his career because he was carrying a lot of weight.
Yeah, we were always carrying weight, weren't he?
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I can't believe Richie Barker, back post, towering header, John Mullin with nice run down right hand side at Millmore. A classic Millmore night for me. They just beat Liverpool the week before, and then they come to little old Millmore and we smash them. And that was about big money. You know, back then, I think I remember at the time we won 32 grand for winning the third round. That was big money for us at the time. We're not in that similar situation where we need the cash. But if we get through to the third round, it's worth around 100 grand. That's a lot. That's still helpful to the transfer budget, isn't it? So
100%, yeah, definitely.
Get Will Grigg back.
Exactly. John C says, I said it before, Newcastle in the third round, bring it on.
Oh, God, no, not Newcastle in the third round, no.
Why?
Listen,
I mean, just the steps up to away end.
Yeah, I mean, you need a lift to get up to their away end. It's as bad as Sunderland. I'm not going to St James's Park for a workout. I want to go and watch football. I
need to do 3 weeks worth of gym training if we're going to Newcastle just to get up there, to get up to seats.
Do you know what we haven't had? And this is we'll talk about third round here already. We have not had a home tie in the FA Cup that's been worthwhile at New York. All the home ties have been lower league. We lost to Hull last time at home in the third, which weren't, for us, it's not a massive game.
We lost at ref, didn't we, that game?
We lost the ref. And the only thing with that is, if we won that game where they got Chelsea at home, and that'd be the big tie at home, we've never ever had a home big tie at New York, and that's the one thing New York's missed. It's like everything else, New York, hasn't it? New York's in every single thing since it opened. We haven't had that home tie against the big boy. So.
You are jumping the gun slightly with that, though, Matthew.
This is what the FA Cup does, though, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't to you.
Wants Leicester in the fifth round, and he's going on about great games against Man U and Leeds, etc., and things like that. This is what the FA Cup. I don't understand why people don't like it. It's great. I love it.
There have been some classic moments in the FA Cup. Do you remember when Cesc Fabregas made his debut against Paul Ward?
Yeah. That was League Cup.
That was League Cup.
Yeah. Our memorable moments in the FA Cup are few and far between. We got the Solihull game where we came 3-0 down. That Notts County game, mate. No, that Notts County game away from home.
Kasper Schmeichel in net, weren't he, as well?
It was, yeah. 2013, 2012 it would have been. The first year of Steve Evans. Away 3-0 win, which was one of the best away performances that season.
Yeah, it was.
It was superb game. So we've had the odd moment, but the few and far between. On Bromley, as is quite well publicised, it's our first ever meeting with Bromley, which is not really surprising. So they've never been in the Football League. They're currently having one of their best seasons ever. I think Paul Warren was saying if they win their game in hand, they'll be top of the National League. And with the National League nowadays, Danny, there are some arguments in the midweek sort of saying that we are only a season or two away for the National League being stronger than League Two because of how few promotion places there are. To be top of that league, that means they are a real team.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said this for ages about bringing National League teams into EFL Trophy. That will make the competition a lot stronger and a lot more watchable. But you have to say the top 6 or 8 of the National League are probably League Two standard teams. It's like one of my mates is a Torquay fan, and he says Torquay could do well in Football League, but they just never finish well in the playoffs or in first position. And you could say maybe the EFL needs to look at more place swaps between League Two and National League to potentially make their own league stronger in a sense. But like Paul Ward says, Bromley win their game in hand, the top at National League, so they're at least 17th in League Two by comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think people are billing it as League One against National League. It could be an easy win for Rotherham. I don't think it will be. I think Bromley will give us a real test, and they want to show the big boys up on their first meeting. It's just a shame it's not away because it'd be another new ground. But oh well.
If we might draw, we might get a replay, so you never know.
Yeah,
that is the last thing we want, a replay. Yeah. I agree, Danny. I completely agree. It's a proper test, this. It's going to be a proper game. I don't know, they're bringing 400-500, which is more than some other League One clubs. But it's going to be, this is, we're not a big boy, but we are one of the bigger teams in this competition at this stage.
Yeah.
So for them to get us, they must be looking forward to that. It's not only a new ground and a fantastic ground, and to test themselves as footballers, they get to test themselves as one of the top teams in the competition at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a potential banana skin for us. And, you know, it's the FA Cup, it's giant killing weekend and all that sort of stuff. I said giant killing, but you know what I mean? Like you said,
we're the Giants.
Well, yeah, exactly, because we're sort of third in League One, so we're the third highest placed club in this competition at the moment until round 3. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's going to be difficult. Listen, I don't care really what the result is. I would be great to win. I just want to come out of it with a clean bill of health. That's the only thing that really matters to me personally. Yeah, it'd be great to win, obviously, and I want us to win, and I'll be shouting us on to win. But the main thing is that come 5 o'clock on Friday with no new injuries, that is the main thing.
It's a little bit of a free. I would try and compare it to like other things in life. It's sort of like when your friend tells you this band's really amazing, so you listen to one of the songs, and if it's good, you can keep going, and you can listen to one of the songs. But if it's crap, it don't really matter because for a footballing point, we've got a league to continue on. So it's one of those things that you can sort of enjoy it. You know, we're not desperate for the cash, so that doesn't really matter. We can just sort of try and enjoy it, Danny. Obviously, we'll enjoy it more if we win, but try and enjoy it. And like Mick said, it doesn't really matter, but it would obviously be nice to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to win a football game, isn't it? And I think if we draw, it may be another potential thing because then we have to go to their place, which is another fixture in the list. But yeah, like you say, it's one of them free hit sort of games where it doesn't really matter if we lose overall. But like Mick says, just come through without any injuries, and just go from there. Really, it's just play how we play our game. Warney said he is feeling a strong team because we've got a break afterwards. So it's just play to our strengths and let's just see what happens. If they finesse a 1-0 win, fair enough. If we beat them 8-0, fair enough. You know, like I said, free it. Let's just see what happens and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see what if hypotheticals, if we do get a draw and have to play a replay, the only time that is available to play them is before the Cambridge game. The only Tuesday available is before the Cambridge game, which would mean it was still in the international break, technically. Because we've got the midweek game against Ipswich, we've got the Oxford game the Saturday, the FA Cup's the following weekend. The FA Cup second round is the following weekend. So there is only 1 week, so that's not an ideal situation. We end up with a replay, we're going to be without some internationals, potentially. We tried to email Bromley, see if we get a scouting report from them. We didn't get any reply from their official podcast. So we don't have any official, or official or unofficial information from all we can look at is their sort of stats. And they've got a goal scorer in their team. Michael Cheek is a striker who's got 10 goals in 13 games so far this season. He's scored plenty of goals. Looking at his history, he's got nearly 120 goals in 200 something games. It's non-league, but as we've already mentioned, non-league is a reasonable standard nowadays. So they've got a threat, and a lot. If you've got a threat in a cup tie, if you've got a goal threat, you give yourself a hell of a chance. So let's see what else they bring. He's not Michael Smith. No. It's a shame Michael Smith's ban won't count for Saturday. That'd be perfect, wouldn't it? Get his 5-game ban out of the way. That's a shame. What we're changing, Mick, for Saturday? Do you think he'll go full Papa John's and bring Victor in, or is it going to be more of a stronger competition and keep Vickers there.
He's suggested, Warney, that he's going to play a strong side. But on the flip side of that, it doesn't matter who he plays, it's going to be a strong side. We've talked about this with the depth that we've got in this squad. So, yeah, I think he will go full Papa John's. I think he will go full pizza trophy. And it will be as wholesale a changes as he can make. I suspect, I hope. But like we've said before, that doesn't make this team very much weaker.
No.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, full Papa John's for me.
So you're saying some Victor's coming, and what's your back three going to be? Bearing in mind, there's not many back three. No, we haven't got a massive amount to choose from.
No, well, we haven't, have we? Really, to be fair,
that's the only area we haven't in it.
Yeah. You're right. It is. Angus is not ready yet, is he? So it's going to be take any three from the four that we've got. Maybe Jake Hull comes back. I don't know whether he's played. Is he at Harrogate? Where is he at?
I shall find out. He's allowed to come out for midweek games, basically.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, you've only got the four to choose from, haven't you? Assuming that Angus is not ready yet at Guiseley. So he won't have played in the FA Cup, I assume, for Guiseley because...
No, not according to my records.
Yeah. If we can bring Jake Hull back, then he gets a start as well, doesn't he, for me? But other than that, that's the only area really where we've not got a lot of depth at the moment. What with injuries and everything else, so don't know what he's going to do with that. But the rest, big changes.
We know Miller's not going to play, Danny. So we know there's a space on the left hand side. What he did last time was sort of almost rest the international players before the international break with Chio, as an example. But with the left hand side, the hand's a little bit tied. He's going to have to play Shane Ferguson really on the left hand side. We're not defence and left hand side of midfield are depth wise a weak area.
I think he'll bring Bowler into it personally. I think because Bowler isn't getting games in the league, I think to keep him content, if you like, he'll stick him out in the FA Cup and say, "Right, go out and impress." And if he needs to, he has got Ferguson as backup. I think the only one he might give a proper run out to is potentially Chio. Just to get him firing on all cylinders before he goes on the international break potentially. Wiles may potentially miss out, but he's not really let a sore foot stop him before, has he?
No.
So the midfield could stay the same, or you could bring in a little bit of a youth aspect with the Rose. Like you say, you could bring Hull into defence if we need to. But I think he will go Papa John's just without as much youth influence. I think because it's the FA Cup and he wants to still put out a strong side, I think probably without as much youth input, but still with some regular starters and then chipping in with some players who are on the fringe, even though we don't like saying that because they're all as good as each other, potentially.
Yeah. Dauphin will start, I assume. I would definitely start a Dauphin. I would say, although you want to change it, you may as well start Rathbone. He can't get suspended for the league because he's obviously on 4 bookings. The only thing he could do is injure himself, but he could injure himself within the first 10 minutes against Cambridge. So you may as well play him, keep the ball, keep his motor ticking over a little bit. He seemed to me like the type of player who needs to be playing. The more he plays, he sort of started the season, the more he played, the better he got. Sadlier will probably come in. You'd assume Sadlier will come in. And the games like this suit Sadlier. They're not as good as us. They can cause us problems, but they aren't as good as us, obviously, because they're in non-league and we're in League One. It's a sort of game that does suit Sadlier, so hopefully he'll play. Then comes the big question, Mick, as with all football teams, who is your start? Harvey Kelwick asks, who would you start up front Saturday? I'm going to say I would definitely start Coyote. Definitely give him a chance. And then I assume Greg.
Yeah, I'd go Will Grigg and JJ every day at week Saturday. No question. No question about that. Freddie on bench in case he's required. But Freddie deserves a rest. As a kind of a reward for the hard work he's put in. of the last couple of games. There's no need for him to be playing. JJ and Griggy. So one of those two is going to have to take Michael Smith's place in the next league game. So they need to get some minutes under the belt. So yeah, JJ and Grigg up front. Sadlier in midfield, just behind him.
Okay. Ian Bradley says Guiseley are at Wimbledon on Saturday. He hasn't played, as far as I can see, he hasn't played any of the qualifying games for Guiseley. So I don't know if we've cup tied him ourselves because we might need him in future. I don't know. So that'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye out for that. See what they are. Chris Taylor asks, can we play Smudge Saturday? Yes, we can. He's suspended for the Cambridge game and not suspended for this game. The question is, do you rest him? That's the question. Danny, do you rest Smudge?
Personally, no. I'd say give Smith a full 90 minutes so he's got that in his tank, because he's not going to have that after the international break, and then maybe have Grigg start alongside him and then swap out Coyote for Grigg. But like Mick says, rest Freddie, in my opinion. I think just to let him settle down, review what he's been doing, and then get in the headspace of I need to keep doing that after the international break.
Yeah, I think we'll see wholesale changes. With being respectful. It's not going to be Man City where we play so many kids. Although it'd be a good test for them. I don't think a lot of the kids are ready for what is essentially a League Two team, a full strength League Two team who are wanting to win. This is not Scunny, who it didn't really matter. Bromley are going to come and want to win this game. I would assume anyway, because they want because the cash for them will be very, very important.
So you're saying that we're going to treat Bromley with more respect than we treated Man City?
I would.
I would as well. I'm just asking a question. That's all. I'm just asking a question. Yeah. I definitely would. No question about that.
Yeah, I certainly would. Looking at again what Bromley's stats, and this is all stats based because it's it's non-league. Michael Cheek is the only player who's scored more than 3 goals for them. Michael Cheek's got 10. James Alabi's got 3, and Corey Whitley has also got 3. They're all 3 strikers. They don't seem like a team. We've got goals everywhere. So if you can keep him quiet, if you've got Woody there, for example. Again, I don't know how tall Michael Cheek is, to be honest with you, so I don't know what type of player he's going to be. Is he going to be a big man who we have to look after, who's going to be tough in air? Is he going to be a quick man? We probably should have done some research on that, to be honest with you, but we haven't, because that's the type of show that we are. Ian Bradley says he's in favour of giving Adolphin 90 minutes on Saturday.
Definitely.
Yeah, keep him happy. Something like Adolphin, you've got to keep happy because he is going to be a very useful player for us. At some point, he's going to get a run of games. You can look at him for 20 minutes and say he's going to play for us a lot. So you need to keep that type of player happy for as long as possible, because it gets to January, he's not playing any minutes. He might be sort of questioning his move, looking for moves elsewhere potentially. That's us speculating, really. Yes, let's do some predictions. Danny, FA Cup first round, Bromley at home. What's your prediction going to be?
I don't want to seem like a pessimist and say Bromley are going to win. I think if we start with Grigg and Smith, I think we'll win 3-1. I honestly think Bromley will score. I think they'll have that desire and they will score. But it'll potentially turn into a game similar to what happened with Maidenhead, where they scored first and then we ended up winning 3-1. I can see that happening again. But yeah, I'll say 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going to 3-1. I think it's going to be exactly the same as Maidenhead. I think we'll go behind early on because of their sort of ambition effort. You look at the 2 non-league last time. I know Maidenhead were part-time. Solihull weren't part-time. And look how much they faded in the last 20 minutes of that game at Solihull. It was incredible how much they faded. So we are going to cause that from them. Mick, thoughts?
I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I think we'll probably keep a clean sheet. It's difficult because, as you said, we don't know anything about Bromley at all, and you can only sort of base it on the positions, league positions, and everything else. I know they're doing well, but defensively, so are we. We've conceded 3 goals in October and scored 23 against teams that are, with the greatest respect, at a much higher level, or a higher level than Bromley. So I can't see us conceding. So I'm going to say 2-0 Millers.
Cool. Are you going to make a foil FA Cup and bring that, Mick?
Yes, I've got that prepared already. I've cut me a bit of cardboard box. I just need to ask my wife if I can borrow some silver foil. Obviously, I'll have to bring it home for Sunday roast on Sunday.
Yeah, obviously.
After Cup, but I want to
After
get
gone
myself.
out.
Yeah. After I want to get myself on BBC Match at Day with FA Cup like that.
Yeah. It could be really badly cut out as well. It can't be. It can't be perfect.
Mate, it doesn't look out like FA Cup, but that'll be fine.
Chris Taylor with more information. Guys, they beat Brackley in the last round. Hull didn't play. I wonder if we're going to be a bit more lenient with them being in the first round proper. Again, I've been selfish. I wouldn't, but you don't know. Ian Bradley says the same. Nick, did you give us a score prediction or did you just blabber on?
I said 2-0. I blabbered on and then I said 2-0.
Ian Bradley is going to go with me and Danny and go 3-1.
2-0.
Ian Bradley, Victor or Josh. Danny, you win Victor, full Papa John's.
Yeah, I'd say bring Victor in, give him a game. If he plays well, he might keep his shirt after the international break. And if he has a calamity, just go back to Josh Vickers.
Yeah, very, very true. Very, very
Not
true.
wishing a calamity on Victor, though, because I want to see him in Galway in one of them bobble horn Viking hats. That'd be hilarious.
If he don't warm up with that helm, there's something wrong in there. He's got to warm up with his own hat on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway. not an edit or out, so what's the problem? Yeah, so there we go. I should say final shout out to the club for the new retro shirt they brought out. New retro shirt, the early 2000s shirt, which I've already ordered. That's already on its way, so I'm looking forward to receiving that hopefully before the weekend. What are you shaking your head at, mate?
I don't like that shirt. I never liked that shirt. Too much white on it.
Yeah, I suppose that's why it's interesting, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But listen, it's good. It is good that they, like you say, bringing out a lot of these retro shirts. I love it.
Yeah. Chris Taylor says Michael Cheek is 6 foot plus. So I assume he's a bit of a target man. We will wait and see. So a few minutes of chat I've got to cover for us. We have closed down our shop. So if you go to New York Talk, you'll see the shop. That's been closed down for the time being because mid-November we're going to try and get some more stuff out for a bit of grand reopening. We've teamed up with Leon. I don't know his surname, so I should know his surname. We should have checked that, Mick. We didn't. But Leon, if you're listening, thank you for all your work you're doing. There will be some new phone cases, some stuff like that, some retro feel stuff, which will be coming out for Christmas. So keep an eye on. Of course, what we've got, what we've looked at so far, it all looks really cool and really good. So keep an eye out for that. We will let you know when that's up and running again because I might get some as well. Any other topics, chats, anything you want to cover that I have missed off? Danny, anything?
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
Other than the Charlton fans fighting in their own end.
Really?
Yeah. It were early on in the second half, just from where we were, they were bang opposite all away fans, and there were this big kerfuffle at the top at stand. It's like, what's going on? And Stewart's descended on him. I had to break him up. And then in our end at half time, one of the players, I can't remember who it was, spade a goal, a shot, into the crowd. So we're all bouncing the ball around. One of the stewards runs off with it, and we do the appropriate chant back to them. And then we start chanting at Will Grigg to kick ball into the crowd. And every time the ball went onto the pitch, one of the players kicked it back into the crowd until some stick in the mud in a flat cap and a Charlton jacket stood next to the goalpost like this and stopped our players from kicking balls in stand anymore. It's like killjoy.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Ian Brother mentions about the shirt. Great memories of 2 magnificent seasons under Ronnie Domick.
Yeah.
That was a shit we wore when
Yeah.
we beat Southampton in the FA Cup third round.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a bit of an omen. One final stat: we haven't lost to a non-league team since 2010 when we lost to York City in a replay in the first round. So there you go. Mick, anything else you want to touch on? We've covered plenty tonight, to be fair.
No, I'm absolutely fine. I'd just like to point out the fact that I'm on flipping telly or YouTube or whatever it is, and I've got my flipping Manscaped t-shirt on, so I'm wearing a t-shirt about having your, regions shaved at my age.
Yes. One last topic, because this is
corporate.
worth mentioning. What do you think of the gossip linking Paul Warne to Barnsley and Cardiff? Now, I'm going to say there's nothing in it. It's not going to go to Barnsley. It's not going to go to Cardiff. The concern is, for me, that Norwich are going to get very impatient with Daniel Farke soon. And as they should. The job they're doing in the Premier League is a little bit of a joke. People compare us to Norwich. At least we have a go. The way they're playing at the minute is a little bit embarrassing. So if he gets the boot, that's when, for me, Danny, that's when the concern comes in. We've lost Meg. That's when the concern comes in. If they pull the trigger on Farke, that's the only time that's going to be a worry for me.
Yeah, and I think the only reason there's any sort of rumour in Warney going to Barnsley or Cardiff is because he was on the bookies list. I don't think Warney's the sort of guy to go and chase after a different management job, because we had this conversation on the bus going down to Charlton. Warney isn't the sort of guy. I mean, he said in interviews constantly he didn't want to be a football manager. So why would he want to go and get and risk a job elsewhere? Like no offense to him, because he has done well for us, but like to take the risk and go to Barnsley, where they are a bit more particular about objectives set for a manager. Same with Cardiff. Cardiff wants to get back to Premier League, and even with the Norwich job, if Norwich come calling, it'd be a perfect thing for Warney to go and manage his boyhood club. It'd be like the Chris Wilder of Norfolk, but their objectives are very much or very different to Rotherham's and a lot tighter than ours. So I think he's in just like a little bubble at Rotherham where, he's doing well as a manager. He's got support from the chairman. He's got support from the vast majority of fans. He's built a really good squad with us. And the only question is, would he be able to do it elsewhere? And I personally think whenever his time is at an end at Rotherham, whether it's Stuart that says we want to go a different direction, or whether Warner decides to hang up his coach whistle, if you like, and he wants to take a step back, he will probably slot back into his coaching, into his fitness coach role. Because his whole setup here, his lad's done well in the academy and he started. His family base is in Tickhill. Granted, it's a bit more Doncaster way, but it's close enough. So I think he's nice and comfy where he is. He's doing well at his job. So I don't think he'd go anywhere else personally at this point in time, unless Norwich have an absolute calamity and they want Warney in. Other than that, I think he's Rotherham manager until he decides to walk himself personally.
Mick.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. I assume that you're still talking about Barnsley and Cardiff.
Well, we've sort of rubbished those two.
Yeah, I mean, that's just nonsense, isn't it? These clubs have sacked managers after they've lost 3 or 4 games on trot or whatever it is. They've been in charge for 2 weeks and then they sack him. Are they going to give somebody 4 or 5 years to get to a position that is taking Warney to get in now? And likewise with Norwich. Do you think Norwich are going to be in a position where they're going to bring a manager in and give him 2 or 3 years grace? The supporters will stand for that. It's not going to happen, mate. It's not going to happen. So
let's hope so. Cool. Nothing else to talk about. We've covered everything. So thank you all for watching. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel because we would like you to. We will be back on Sunday night on YouTube for the review of Bromley, and nothing to preview for 2 weeks, which is a shame. Which I might do something for a little bit of something for Remembrance Day. We want some fans to get involved and sort of basically send us a video of something. So if you are interested, DM us on Twitter, get in contact with Facebook, or email us rufcpod@gmail.com. If you want a bit more information, you fancy it, let us know. We'll try and get as many people involved as we can, so we can get something nice out for Remembrance Day. If you don't fancy it, don't worry about it. If you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, please give us a 5-star rating. Like I've seen somebody else has given us a 5-star rating. So we do really appreciate all the ratings you give us and all the feedback you give us. John says it's been a great show. We do appreciate that. Any negative feedback as well, we take everything on board. We're not these people who, get sensitive when you say something bad what Mick is.
I do, yeah.
But if there's anything you want to see more of, see less of, something different, we're genuinely all ears. We're trying to do this show for Rotherham fans. That's the whole point of doing it. So if there's anything you want to see more or less of, let us know, and I will get the information. I'll sugarcoat it, then I'll pass it on to me. We'll we're back on Sunday, back for the Sunday Night Live, back on Monday morning for the audio podcast. We'll see you then. Danny, it's been a pleasure to see you, and I hope you have we all have a lovely afternoon at New York on Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, can't be any worse than Wickham, can it?
No, it can't be.
Or can it? That's the question.
No, it literally can't be. No, absolutely. Mick, same to you. Hope we have a nice day.
Yeah, I'll be there. Hopefully, Ben will be joining us on Saturday. Maybe he'll be able to join us for the podcast on Sunday, depending whether he's back in London or not. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
We're not important enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Right, it's been a pleasure, boys and girls, and we'll see you very, very soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Ciao.
Freddie's on one-on-one. Freddie shoot, container shot. Unbelievable! Apologies to the neighbours.